Monkeyans! Emonk here! Today you are going to learn how to make a huge mallet. See if I can lift this, yeah. This is the size of it. I hope y'all enjoy. Alright, first we're going to size the mallet. What you're going to do is get your scissors and cut your box. This is just a regular lettuce box. So just cut the box in half and then flip it open. Now that you got your box open, you go ahead and grab a strip of it and just slowly fold it and keep folding it over and over again until you get it to the appropriate size that you want. Depending on the size really depends on how much of the styrofoam you cut out. What I had is a styrofoam box, and it was a pretty big box, and thick. So what my husband did for me is he cut a circular piece out of the styrofoam for me, as you can see right here, and then I just sized it up to the styrofoam pieces he cut out. And you can make smaller mallets by making the styrofoam pieces smaller. It doesn't have to be this big. This is just the demonstration I had, and I wasn't aware that it was going to be this big at first, to be fully honest. And then once you get it sized, cut the excess piece off and keep rolling it, and then stick it up to your styrofoam box, your styrofoam circle thing. Excuse me, I can't talk tonight. And then tape it up if you can, and just tape all around it. You'll see that my husband came and saved me because I wasn't taping it appropriately and he had an idea what to do. So just unfold it and wrap it around as if you're making the mallet shape itself, and then just keep taping in that styrofoam. Don't worry about filling it in or anything, just do this to both sides. If you're a little short on the circular pieces like I was on the other side, he just stuffed some excess pieces in, and that helped the circular shape. So just keep working with it. It takes a lot of time and practice, but you'll get the hang of it. It's not as hard once you start getting into it. Now what I'm doing here is sealing in the circular motion, and also making sure that the box sticks to the styrofoam. And you just do this by laying a strip of tape and placing it on both sides, and just keep working at it until you get both sides done. Now grab your broomstick handle, and I use the centerpiece where I combine the box together around the actual mallet, and just cut a hole and just work with it. And you can shove the broomstick through, and on the other side I already pre-made a hole. So all you do is just push it back there and then make a little indentation, make sure it's centered out, and poke a hole through there. And please be careful, scissors are very sharp and you have a chance of stabbing yourself, so please be very careful when doing this. Now you only want the top of where the handle of the the bottom of the broom actually goes in, and just get a bottle cap and set it and kind of screw it on it, and then just tape it around it. This will create the top of illusion of a cartoon mallet. And then just tape the bottom pieces, that way it doesn't slide, and you can lift it up and test it several times to make sure it doesn't slide or move. I suggest you do this quite a few times to make sure, as I did here. Now time to decorate. What it is, I grabbed the actual roll of duct tape. You can choose what colors you want, but what I did is I put black in the middle and red on the ends. So I'll show you how I applied the tape, and you just literally follow along the mallet with the roll of tape and then cut a strip, and once you're done, you just go on and continue in the next spot next to it. I overlap the tape a little bit because it helps give it a sleek and straight color, and it also covers everything and makes sure that everything goes in the spot it's supposed to. Sometimes it comes short, but for the bottom end right there, you want to make sure that you are a little short because you're going to be decorating this broomstick piece a little later. Like, you could use the same method and just twist the tape around for the broomstick as well, and that will create the color of the handle. That way you don't have a funky colored handle with a really awesome mallet. So, and as you can see, I started having difficulty trying to tape this thing, so I had to move it in several different positions, and it is obviously really, really big, so it took quite a few rolls of duct tape. It took one roll of black, and as far as the red, I believe it took 2 rolls, and these are fairly big size rolls of duct tape, mind you, so be aware of that on the size of your mallet, and be sure you know what colors you want to do beforehand. But this is just a demonstration of what I did with this mallet. You can do this with any other mallet. This gives it a sleek cartoon look to it. Just be sure to stick with the straight strips and you're good to go. Now I would recommend be sure to decorate the actual full sides of the mallet first, like I'm doing here, because the tape on the outer edge of it after the black will help cover up this misplaced duct tape. This is going to help create a smooth look, and I did straight strips of red on this side, and then I did strips of black and red on the other side. I did a half and half feature. And you just keep cutting strips to the sides and just keep wrapping it around until it's completely done on this side and the other side. Now continue on with your next color. For me, it was red. Here is where you're going to need your foam paper and 2 printer sheets. I printed off 2 diagrams that I really liked, so I just printed them off, and this is an 8x10. So I put 2 foam sheets together. Most foam sheets come as a full-size paper, but I only had half sheets. So all I did was cut out the figure and then glue the 2 foam sheets together, like I used hot glue, and then I glued the actual figure of the paper onto it. That way it keeps the color, and it also gives it a 3D kind of effect. That way it's not just a full flat piece of paper. This is going to help it also glue straight to the mallet as well. And please be careful, hot glue is very, very hot. Now that you got your foam piece cut out, what I did with the bat, since it's half black, half red, I put the black side on the red, and then I put the red side on the black. You can see the red on the black here. Sorry I didn't get it in full view. I thought I did. I guess I wasn't paying attention very well, so sorry for the technical difficulty. But you just hot glue it straight on there, and again, hot glue is very hot, and let it completely dry, and make sure you get the edges really, really well, because it'll try to come up, so definitely pay attention to the edges. You do this to both pieces of paper. Both of these are built the same way, so it's not difficult at all. Like I said, if you had full sheets, you could just skip this step that I'm doing here if you had the full sheets. And once you wait for the hot glue to completely dry, make sure that you put Mod Podge over it. This acts as a sealer like it did with the shoes, and will keep it from crinkling up, and will also keep it as a waterproof edge, even though I would imagine you would take this out in the rain, because it probably wouldn't last. Just a little hint for you. But the Mod Podge will help seal it, and it will keep the color from peeling and the paper from peeling. The Mod Podge is a really good sealer, so be sure to use it, and you don't have to be sparingly on it. It doesn't take much, but it doesn't hurt to always be safe, and just repeat the process for the other side. I didn't get this recorded, but later on I put "Ding Dong, the Bat is Dead" in Sharpie. You could just write on it if it's a light enough color as far as the duct tape goes, just for future notice. To add an extra flare, I cut out diamonds as well, and I also did an 8x10 of a full sheet of diamonds. And I figured since it's black, I wanted to use red and white diamonds, because I'm putting this in the middle. You can put it wherever you want, but this is also another process if you want to put another picture on there. It's the same thing as before, and then seal it with Mod Podge. Now that your Mod Podge is completely dry, I would let it cure for 24 hours. That's the recommended thing for Mod Podge. And this is the day before the convention, like literally the day before, so my group is hanging out at my house. So if you see little feet walk by or me being distracted, that's because we've had several people and we were trying to make sure our costumes were ready and set to go, so please excuse the little bit of foot traffic. You'll probably see Little Gray Bat and Tristy Willow randomly pop by here and there. So, excuse me. But what you're doing here is that you're grabbing the bottle cap and you're hot gluing it onto the sides. This is going to act as your little bullets or pins, as most people call them, and it'll give you the little stud look, basically, and that will help it create the mallet look. So just hot glue it on there, and I kind of twist it into the hot glue because it surrounds the bottle cap fully and make sure that it gets all the way around. I did this on both ends, so and just line them up. This took about, I'd say about 10 bottle caps on one side and then 10 on the other. So just to give y'all an idea on how many I took for this mallet, just try to line it up the best you can and put as much hot glue as possible, because this is going to be what secures it the most. Now, time to paint. What I did is I had a silver acrylic paint, and all I did was just tap over it with the paintbrush and just literally did circle motions all around it. That way the whole stud gets completely painted to a silverish blackish. That way it blends in with the mallet and it doesn't look like bottle caps either. So once you do this, since we don't have a heating treatment, because you can't exactly throw this into the dryer or use an ironer on it. I would not do that. So I recommend instead we are going to use our little friend called Mod Podge. You'll see later on, once I finish painting all these studs, that I'll be going back over with Mod Podge. So make sure that they dry. And again, sorry for me getting extremely distracted. As I said, the group was needing opinions and we all wanted to make sure we were all good to go. So please excuse that once again. And like I said before, just smother Mod Podge all over each individual stud. Just make sure that your paint is dry underneath first, so I would give it a few minutes before you actually go and attack this. Trust me, it turns out really messy if you don't. And I didn't get to record me taping up the broomstick, so I am sorry for that. I kind of ran out of footage, so I am so sorry. But what you do is just you start it at the top of where we connected the broomstick with the mallet piece and just wrap it in a circular motion all the way down. What I did is I did black going all the way down, and then I topped it off with red at the bottom where the top of the broom handle is. That you can do that, or you could do a spiral, which for that you would have to go at it at a slant and go down and then follow over with the second color. It's not too hard, it's fairly simple. Again, I'm sorry I didn't get that recorded. I will be sure to keep an eye on that next time.
And that is how you make this particular mallet. Now, you do have an option. Let me set this down. You do have an option of creating a smaller mallet, like this one. Granted, this one is big as well, now that I think about it. I am currently working on building an even smaller one, so like I said, just pick a size really. If you want a different size than obviously this big one, because it does get heavy to carry around, what you can do is just keep cutting the box in half before you roll it. That way you will know exactly how big it's actually going to turn out. That's the easiest way I could think of. And if you make it small enough, you can actually fill it with styrofoam plates and just duct tape them together, kind of like this, maybe, if it's not stuck, like this, without the hair bow. Oh, I was not prepared. Yeah, see? And then just build a little box around it, and voila, you'll even have a medium-sized mallet. Hope y'all enjoy this tutorial. Please hit like and subscribe. I'll see you next Tuesday. We are going over the makeup. So be sure to tune in, and I will see you next Tuesday. As always, happy cosplaying!